I'm Van Sebastian here with my co-host S.A. Baz Collins for this week's Written on the Edge Season 10, Episode 39 interview. We'll be talking with Jeffrey Round and discussing his novel, The English Tutor. So let's get to know our guest. Jeffrey Round is an award-winning author, filmmaker, songwriter, and photographer. His books include the Lambda Award-winning Dan Sharp series, the comic Bradford Fairfax series, and the acclaimed war novel, The Honey Locust. He directed Agatha Christie's stage classic The Mousetrap for 3 of its 27 record-breaking years at Toronto Truck Theatre. His plays, films, and music videos have won multiple international awards, including the Luis Buñuel Memorial Award. Jeffrey, welcome to the show, and I really hope I didn't just butcher that award name.
Uh, Technically, I think it's the Luis Buñuel, but otherwise, your introduction was perfect. It was flawless. I was thinking, wow, you should be an actor. Are you an actor?
I am. I even have my SAG-AFTRA card and everything.
He's legit.
Explains a lot. Legit.
So that's a lot. Where did that passion to become a creative person come from? Because you've made a life of it.
Wow, that just opens so many doors in my head. I think as a kid, I was a total introvert and I would just go into my own mental space. Books were a constant comfort. Television was a constant comfort. When I was brave enough, I would direct the other kids in little games we would play around the neighborhood. So I was a born director, but a very introverted one. So if anybody said, "I don't want to be the Wicked Witch," it's like I would break down. So,
Oh,
but that carried through. I had an extremely inspirational high school teacher. I'll name him James Farmer. Yeah, I was in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia at the time, grade 11 and 12, I believe it was. And he really brought me out of my shell. He taught me that I could compose music. I knew how to play the piano, but I didn't know how to create something. And he said, well, listen, this is how you do it. Go ahead, think of a melody in your head, write a song. And I down a few bars. He said, okay, continue, continue. And an actual song came out of that first, a very primitive song, but it came out of that first session. But a he was what's the word artistically? He was like a polyglot, but that's for languages. He was someone who could speak about poetry and then about film and then about art and then about music and make it all tie in together. And I thought, wow, wouldn't it be something to be like this guy? So he was one of my first inspirations.
that's amazing. And what a great inspiration to have in your youth.
Mm-hmm.
He was,
So,
absolutely.
we're here today to talk about The English Tutor, your novel. What if I were to see it in front of you at like a Pride event or a parade or something? What would you tell me it was about? If I looked at it and said, "Oh my God, this cover's gorgeous. What's the book about?" What would be your elevator pitch?
Is this my cue to hold it up?
There it is.
There you go.
Um, what would be my elevator pitch? This is a tough one because it's quite controversial. It is about two gay men whose cultures are at odds with one another, and they come together and they find a mutual attraction, but in the background is this clash of cultures. So one is typical North American, he's white. The other is Middle Eastern, he's from the Islamic side of things. And between them, they are trying to find common ground without upsetting families, friends, colleagues. But of course, all of these other influences are constantly coming in saying, hey, hey, you guys shouldn't be here together. Or in on his side, homosexuality is haram. You this is wrong. You cannot do this. And the older uh, English tutor is trying to explain to him the ways of the world in North America. It's a little easier. Men can be with men, men can marry men, and trying to explain that they could have a life together if they both tried.
So a romance has developed.
Yes.
In addition to it just being a teacher-student relationship, it's a romance.
It becomes a romance. Yes, it starts off as student teacher.
Okay.
But my protagonist, Jeff Manderson, is hired by medical forces to come in and he is working with men who have been wounded in the civil war in Libya. He wants to come in and help them with their English, thus the title, The English Tutor.
Okay.
But one of his students is quite precocious and says, "Hey, I like you," and things start off from there.
Interesting. So, what was the inspiration to touch on the difficult topics when telling the story?
I think I would have to say I have dated 4 Muslim men. I get around. And three
No
of
shame.
them, it thank you. Three of them, I could tell there were certain degrees of willingness to engage in a relationship and certain things that were just untouchable. They did not even want to talk about it. And interestingly, the fourth one was although he was born outside of North America, he was completely westernized. He said, "Yeah, okay, this is what these guys are going through. They can't tell their friends, they can't tell their family." Uh, and he had conquered all these demons in his life that said, "You must not do this, you must not do that." And I thought, wow, great for you. To your credit, you have taken this on to liberate yourself in what we would call a Western context.
Hmm.
But these other three men, there were just psychological obstacles that they could not get beyond. I didn't push, so it would always be clandestine meetings, and I would never meet any of their friends where I was introducing them to my friends, but they were very worried about my friends. Will this person talk? Will this person say something to somebody I know? So there was always this fear. And at some point, especially with one of the ones who had been involved in the civil war in Libya, there was a terror because in his background was the war, was PTSD, was people dying all the time, and he found it extremely hard to accept anything that he thought might be threatening him or his family.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so I will say that that was the inspiration because I thought you can't put you can't dangle a rom-com and say, "Oh, look, the background is this civil war in this other country." It just doesn't work.
Right, right. So, Yusuf is the student, right?
Correct. Yes.
How did Yusuf's growth over the novel change him? And I'm trying to not tread into spoilers because I want people to read it and get to the end.
Right. Okay. So uh, as their relationship grows, I mean, it starts off formally. We've got a teacher and we've got a pupil, and then suddenly we've got a budding sexual relationship that one of them is thinking, "Hey, this could be a partner." And Jeff is thinking this could be a partner. And Yusuf is saying, "Oh, no, 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 I can't do anything like this." But as he starts to fall in love and the love is mutual, that is the springboard for all of the changes in the psychology.
Love it.
You're
Love is so
smiling. I
powerful.
like that. I must have given a good answer.
You gave a great answer. Love is
Yeah.
super powerful.
Uh,
Thank you.
How do you deal with some of the more challenging aspects, like with familial relations and stuff on Yusuf's side? Um, because that's still tricky waters. And part of it is, when you get into cultural things, people like to paint with big brushes, and every person's journey, even within a given culture, can be drastically different from one another. So I'm curious to know what the his reaction or his reticence in the beginning, or even the growth that he goes through. How much of those taboos are overshadowing some of the progress the relationship goes through.
I want to say, surprisingly, the family aspects on Yusuf's part are not as difficult as they appear to be. Um, he is Jeff is dealing principally with Yusuf's mother and father, as well as a sister and an absent brother who refuses to talk to a non-Muslim. But this is all over the internet. So these are on-screen calls in which Jeff gets introduced first as an English tutor and then secondly as a friend. And that is as close as he gets to any part of the real relationship at first, but he later finds out that Yusuf has revealed his true relationship to his sister. Um, so sorry, Vance, you don't want spoilers, so that was a bit of a spoiler. But what Jeff comes to learn is that this is a family like any other. They're in a different country. They speak a foreign language. They have a different religion from him, but he relates to them as people. Now it's sporadic. They're
Right.
not in the book every other chapter. They're here, a little taste here, a little taste here, and they're first introduced as potentially dangerous elements, and then later, excuse me, later as he relaxes and realizes these are just people. And look, their living room looks like my living room, right? He is far more inclined to say, just talk to them as people and don't think of them as a threat to myself or my relationship with Yusuf. And that is his journey very much.
Very nice. Well, is there anything about the English tutor that you want readers to know that we didn't think to ask?
Wow. I'd have to get a can opener and go into your brain. Um, Let me think. I'm rambling a little bit here. Um, it's all about cultural sensitivity.
Mhm.
Um, and that was partly my journey as well. First, as a human being, trying to relate to these guys I was dating. They were saying, no, 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 we can't have this. And then saying, no, but you're still a person and we feel affection for one another. Let's explore it on whatever level you feel safe doing that. And it was, some of them was very minimal. And then, as I mentioned, the fourth man that I was seeing sporadically, he was completely open, and he was the key to it. So he said, "Well, when they say this, this is what they mean. When they're talking about this, this is what they're dealing with." And that opened up a lot for me that helped me understand their psychology. And that really is what the book is about, understanding two people from completely different worlds trying to understand each other's psychology when they're both invested in the relationship and they both say, "Hey, we love each other." And that is the key to it.
And I think one of the things that we need to highlight, I mean, you made a comment earlier how it's hard to do something with the Civil War in the background and it be a rom-com. But then you have people like Taika Waititi who can navigate that and has shown that you can do very, very difficult. And I mean, he did Jojo Rabbit, where he, as a New Zealander Maori man, played Hitler himself, you know. And so you have these certain instances where I think you can do it, but I think and I'm doing this primarily for the authors out there who listen to our podcast. I think part of it is you have to decide what is the focus of the book. Is it more to the evolution of, in this case, the romance between the tutor and the student, or and the cultural things that are shifts and bounds that are there? But you know, there are all kinds of ways that you could focus on a slightly rom-com bent to it, much along the lines of, like, you know, in Jojo Rabbit, when the little boy really starts to have feelings for the Jewish girl that his mother's hiding. You get it from a much more naive and nuanced, you know, position of wonderment of how, you know, as this boy is evolving and growing into his manhood. You know, so I just think that one of the things we need to highlight is, as an author, you need to figure out what is the focus of the book so that you bring that forward, because that's the best place to tell this type of story. But I think that, you know, the broader context is there are ways to do it. You just have to be intentional and understand what it is that you're doing.
Yes, absolutely. You guys are coming up with some great points. I am known somewhat for blending genres. So you will never find a book of mine without humor. And I do find the humorous moments in this relationship. For instance, Jeff and Yusuf are going up an escalator while two gay men are coming down holding hands. And it's the first time Yusuf has seen two men holding hands in public. And he's saying, this gay? This gay? He's saying, yes, like us. He said, no, I'm not gay. He said, you're gay. As these two men are descending and they're going up, and this whole thing is going on in his head. Oh my God, maybe I am gay. Right. So I find little comedic moments like that to lighten it up, because
Hmm.
you can't tell a story that is all gloom and doom and
Hmm.
dealing with PTSD and struggling with cultures without light moments. So certainly that is there. And I would recommend to any author, you must find the full spectrum of the emotional life that these people are undergoing. Otherwise, you have people who are only bad and people who are only good, and you go, okay,
Right. Which
I don't
isn't
know
what
anybody
life
like that.
is. Yeah, life isn't like that. Yeah.
No,
Life is messy.
life is very messy, especially these days. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Jeffrey, are you ready for our get to know you questions?
Okay. Yes.
Okay, go
Okay,
right ahead.
before we get to that, I just wanted to take a moment to say if you like what we're doing here, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe to all of the things. If you want to help support us financially, that would be really wonderful. There are costs involved for doing a project like this, and we would very humbly accept your donation. You can go to buymeacoffee.com/rope podcast or at patreon.com/rope podcast. I'm also going to be putting up Albert's and my full reactions to queer media content up on our YouTube members part of the channel, and that's going to be a one level at 99 cents per month. So it's a watch along feature. So we give you like the first minute of what we're watching, so you can sync up your copy with what we're watching, and then from then on, it's just the two of us reacting to it in real time. So if that's something of interest to you and you want to just throw a buck our way every month, that would be wonderful too. And we will keep you fully engaged with all of that content. So, with all of that said, let's dive into the weeds. Can you name a movie that was better than the book?
Movie that was better than the book. Wow. Um, Being on the authorial side of things, I'm inclined to say that's a tough one, whereas most people would say, oh, of course, books are boring. Um, uh, I don't know if I can. I mean, I have a number of choices that I would say the book was as good as the movie.
Okay, well, give us one of
My
those.
favorite movie, this might be illuminating. My favorite movie of all time is Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, which is not a book, it's a stage play. I think that's an incredible movie. Uh, and as well, I love reading the play. Another one is The Spy Who Came in from the Cold, an incredible
Mm-hmm.
book,
John Le
but
Carre. Mm-hmm.
also a spectacular movie.
Mm-hmm.
And they both happen to star Richard Burton. So that's interesting.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Um, I do like Richard a lot. But it's honestly, how can I think of a movie that was better than a book? Um, I'm going to say no.
That's mine.
Oh, sorry, Auntie Mame.
Yes. Yes. And if
And
you
I
read The
and
Book Above His Shoulder, you will find out why it is
okay,
like stellar. Lots of
okay.
behind the
And
scenes stories there.
I've seen the movie, great movie, but I've never read the book.
Yeah.
So there we
The
go.
book is
And I
good,
can
but I think you don't get the bullet trainness of the character unless you see
you see
Roz
the
at it.
movie.
Yeah.
I can
Yep.
think of a number of books that the movies failed to live up to the promise.
Oh
But
yeah, there are a lot of
excuse me,
those.
The Great Gatsby again and again and again. I think there have been five versions of it. It's
Nobody's
one
nailed
of
it
my
yet.
favorite books.
Yeah, and nobody's nailed it yet. All right. Well,
Nope.
which fictional character would you most like to be friends with?
To be friends with. Wow. Okay. Um, I think Hamlet, because I could help
Oh,
him talk through his nonsense that he goes through in his head. I'm so like, I love the guy, but I just want to take him and shake him and
shake
say,
the hell
listen,
out of him.
dude, get it together, because life doesn't have to be this bad. So
Right.
that's,
Good
yeah,
answer.
that would be him. I really like
Hold on
him.
for 400 years and, then we'll, we'll get things sorted out because the Danes do figure it out. All right. What's
And
the
we have
most?
therapy.
Yeah, there you go. What's the most fascinating fact that you know?
Most fascinating fact that I know. That's assuming I know anything. I believe a lot of things. I'm not sure if I know things. The fact that life keeps changing and surprising me no matter what I think I know. How's that for a conundrum?
Okay. Well, okay. What was your favorite subject in school?
As a kid, I have to divide this. As a kid, I was very uh, left brain, meaning logical, and I loved science. I loved history. I loved dinosaurs. I wanted pet dinosaurs, but of course you can't have those. Maybe one day.
Yeah.
Uh, but by the time I got to high school and met my teacher, James Farmer, my favorite subject by then was definitely English literature, and that's the right brain stuff,
Right.
right? Left brain controls the right. I always had trouble with this. Right brain controls the left, but I think I've got it now.
Okay.
Sometimes I meet in the middle, not always.
Well, that's the sweet spot. Okay, before making a telephone call, do you rehearse what you're going to say?
Yes, always. Like
That
this
was
one.
straightforward. Okay, what current event or causes are you most passionate about?
Is there a cause just to clean up the entire world, ecologically, politically,
Yeah,
economically?
yeah.
Uh,
It's such a loaded
my
question in this day and age.
like my thinking is diffracted in so many directions. I think there are so many things that break my heart every day. I find it hard to go downtown now. Now, keep in mind, this is Canada. We are quite a bit uh, behind you in terms of
I would
social
say ahead of us in some
decomposition.
terms.
Well, behind us or just ahead, I'm never sure which, because we did not really have scads and scads of homeless people here before COVID. I used to go to New Orleans and think, oh my God, look at these people who live under bridges. And it was horrifying to me because we didn't have that. Uh, Through COVID, our main street, Young Street, has dividers, these cement dividers that suddenly during COVID were populated by rows and rows of tents. And I thought, what is happening here? And it
Mm,
did not stop with COVID. It got worse with COVID. So now when I go downtown, whereas 10 years ago, I might have seen one person begging for money. Every major street corner, there's either somebody begging or there's somebody sleeping on the corner. And it's heartbreaking. And a lot of, I look at them, I think, you're in your 20s and you have no future. And what happens to those people? I don't even know, honestly. So
all
all of
right.
it.
Well, yeah. All right. Well, if you could visit anywhere in the world, where would that be?
Oh, London, England. I'm going
Oh,
in 2 weeks.
oh, excellent,
It's my
excellent.
Yes.
happy city. I feel so at home there. I love history, architecture, art,
Yeah.
literature,
Tick,
and
tick,
it's
tick, tick, tick.
layered, layered, layered,
Yeah.
so hands down, London. Yeah.
All right. Well, who, if anyone, was your first celebrity crush?
First celebrity crush, Scott Fitzgerald.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Was also the first adult book that I fell in love with. And I thought, oh my God, you can do this with words. This is incredible. It wasn't even so much the story. I mean, it's just the potency of the language that he used in that book. Um, it just exploded for me. If you want to go to unreal celebrities, I would say Frank and Joe Hardy, but that was a few years earlier. They were
Okay.
my best friends.
Yeah, right.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, finally, what's your personal favorite recipe that you make, and are you willing to share it with us?
You're talking about food?
Hmm.
Um, I make a killer chicken mole.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah. And my addition, now I had it, I go to Mexico a lot. I had it in Mexico many, many times, but I decided to throw in a base of stewed tomatoes to liven it up a little bit. Now I've since learned that there are areas in Mexico where you can find this recipe as I have concocted it. But until then, I had never seen this done. So I throw in the base of stewed tomatoes. It has to be really thick and dense, and you don't want like wishy-washy tomatoes. You want the really thick stuff. And then you put in the chocolate. Then you put in the chilies. And then, as an afterthought, you put in the bird, and then you put it all together.
Yeah.
Sounds delicious.
Are you hungry? I hope so.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, as a Mexican, you're talking my language, so.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. What part of Mexico?
Oaxaca.
Oaxaca. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
have driven from Cancun all the way down to Chiapas.
Oh, wow.
9-hour trip. Yeah.
Wow. Love that. Well, you made it through our list. Bravo.
Bravo. So, do you have any other appearances or events coming up that you want people to know about?
I do, looking at my calendar, where am I? Not even on my calendar because it's so far ahead. I think it is because I'm gone most of October. Um, I may be signing books in London when I'm there, but nothing's definite yet. On November 29th, which is a Saturday, I will be reading at the Secret Handshake Art Gallery. And that is in Toronto's Kensington Market. It's, I think it's 361 College Street. You might want to check the actual numbers. That's something to look online. It's an event for one of our best loved queer poets, Bill Bissett. And Bill was not a protege, but he was much applauded by Jack Kerouac back in the 1960s. And Bill is turning, I think, Bill, don't kill me if I get it wrong. I think he's turning 85. So he is hosting an event where he is having some of his favorite poets come and read along with him. So it's his birthday party.
That's lovely.
That's fantastic.
It is. Yeah. And Bill is just an absolute doll. Bill's been around for many years, obviously. He was just given the Order of Canada last year, which is that's
huge.
part
Yeah.
royalty in Canada. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, do you have a website or social that you use most that you want people to follow so that they get the updates for events like this and others?
I'm on Instagram a lot.
Okay.
And that's Jeffrey Round. And Facebook, same thing. One of them might be Jeffrey Round Author. I can never remember. And my website, of course, www.jeffreyround.com.
Perfect.
And those are the three I use. So I've weaned myself off the others because I'm sure you guys know. I mean, it just takes hours and hours out of your time every day. And
It
who can afford it?
Well, and that's why I asked the question that way, is because authors who focus on the one that they enjoy see the most success. So audiences knowing where to find you is the best way to ask that.
Yes. So Instagram, I diddle with it daily. Website, I update it monthly.
Perfect.
Facebook, when and as I can.
Perfect. Well, do you have any final words of wisdom for us?
Words of wisdom. Boy, I just want to say, just keep your heads down, keep your hearts clean and pure, and just I'm talking to everybody, not just you guys. It's like it's a tough slog out there. People lose heart. I have these conversations with people every day. They're losing heart. They are so disappointed in the way the world is going, and it doesn't seem to be going in a better direction anytime soon. We just want the best for everyone. That's as I say at the end of the English Tutor, it's a big world out there. There's room for everyone, and we all need to remember that.
I love that.
Thank you.
What better inspiration than to get people to read the book? That's amazing.
Great.
All right, folks, we'd like to extend a huge thank you to Jeffrey Round for being with us here today. Jeffrey, thank you so very much.
It has been an absolute pleasure talking to both of you.
For us as well.
And anti-mame.
And anti-mame. All right, folks, we at Written on the Edge are proud to introduce you to new media by queer content creators. If you enjoy learning about new artists or hearing our thoughts on entertainment media, please like and subscribe so you get the alerts for new episodes. Our show was produced by Rogue Ravens Media. For our links to social media, our listen stations, or to sign up as a guest, visit www.roguepodcast.com. Tune in next week for your queer media fix.
Bye now.
closing time. The bums rush in melody, dear.